Caro, you've prosecuted and led a conflict of interest crusade from that chair for the best part of 2 decades. We saw an extraordinary potential example of that on the weekend involving Cam Mooney and some vision that supports that tonight due to his dual role as a Fox Footy boundary rider in the Geelong Giants game and his additional role seemingly in the Giants.
Well, I thought it was extraordinary and embarrassingly I wasn't aware up until last week that Cam Mooney was in fact the Giants forwards coach. Here he is working for Fox Footy, interviewing Adam Kingsley at half-time. Fascinating. Here he is in the Giants rooms. Fascinating. He was lined up to interview Chris Scott. Also at half-time, Chris Scott was waiting to be interviewed and Geelong had agreed to the interview and Cam Mooney coming to the start of their rooms and Cam Mooney never showed up. Now, Fox tell me it's a production problem, it was a stuff-up. Cam Mooney was waiting on the boundary. He didn't know he was meant to be in the room. So the interview never took place. But I just think, and Geelong was sort of not thrilled about it, but they were happy to go along with it.
Who was he working for on the night officially? Was he working for Fox officially?
He was working for Fox officially.
But that's clearly, if it's not coaching, it's checking in on, isn't it?
He's in the rooms talking with players. And bizarrely, in the past, Cam Mooney has often gone back to Geelong and done a few functions. I think Geelong made it clear on the weekend that probably wouldn't be a good look for him to be doing functions.
So are
the forwards coach.
Geelong angry?
They're not angry, but I remember last year, remember when there was
I've never seen that before.
Remember the Daisy Pearce story, when Richmond said we don't want Daisy Pearce in the room, she's a Geelong coach. And you said Daisy's got to make a choice. Now, Daisy didn't like that, but Geelong completely supported the stand by the Richmond Football Club and understood why they wouldn't want Daisy in their rooms. And they were a bit surprised that Cam Mooney, as forwards coach of GWS, was going to be in the Geelong rooms interviewing Chris Scott. I don't think they'd thought a lot about it, but with hindsight, they're a bit surprised. And it was only a production stuff-up that meant he wasn't there.
Number one, don't take a role, personally. Like, you just don't take a role. And number two, don't put him on a Giants game. Like, that's how I view it. I think that is from both sides.
It's such an easy one to avoid, isn't it? I mean, I understand about soft caps and they need all the coaches they can get and they can't all live in Sydney, and I understand, not fair on Cam Mooney, he needs to make a quid, but that is not the way to do it.
And on field, they've got a couple of problems, and it's been Tom Stewart that's been a bit of an issue for them with the lockdown on him. It's happened for 3 weeks in a row.
He's been clamped,
He's been clamped, the quarterback clamped. Hutchie, this is what's happening to him. So it was O'Halloran. They even tried to send Tom Stewart to Toby Green for a little bit, but they gave up on that. But the big concern is Myers. So if teams start coming after Myers, and I can't believe this hasn't happened sooner with the amount of ball he's been generating for them, and he's been protecting the midfield. Perryman goes to him, and then Iden did a magnificent job on Cameron. So Chris Scott is the best coach in the game, but you'd have to say that Adam Kingsley and his tactics and his matchups got the tick on Saturday afternoon.
Reece Stanley's a premiership ruckman, but this is an issue again for them. So let's go back to the loss in round 9. So a ruckman is subbed out. Round 11, Toby Conway subbed out. And then poor Mark Lixarves. He just has to be the Mr. Fix-It time and time again for the ruck issues that they've got. So he was monstered in the end by Briggs. And this is the final one where the winning goal after a ruck stoppage is from Toby Green. So Toby Green actually gets the ball out the back. Not totally his fault, but he was just out of his depth in that regard. And I'm putting it on the next De Koning. Obviously, it's Tom, isn't it? Sam De Koning, that can he potentially be something for them? They can start to invest and teach him how to be a ruckman.
You think he's competitive enough, Lordo?
Well, he's not. He was a star in his first year, but he wasn't competitive enough as a backman on the weekend.
They have to go to Fremantle and get Darcy, don't they?
Yeah, or just at least they're the easiest players to recruit ruckman, and for whatever reason, Geelong never do it.